Are you ready to tackle the toys? I hope so. By the end of this video, you are for sure going to be ready because I am going to give you all of the tips and the strategies that you need to tackle those toys. So this is week 4 of Make Room for the Holidays, a declutter challenge that I am putting on for all of you just to help you kind of get motivated and get a jump start on some of the decluttering so you can make space for all of the hustle and bustle and activities that are going to be coming up in the next couple of months. So let's jump right in. Toys. They can kind of feel like an intimidating thing to get rid of because your kids maybe feel attached to them and things like that. So I want to just give you some tips here. So before you even touch a single toy, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to schedule a time to do it. Don't keep putting it off or think, oh, I'll just do it after the holidays. Like, now is really a great time to do it. And I would encourage you to schedule a time to do it when your kids are around, not when they're gone and then they come back and they see that all their toys have been taken away. Your kids need to be included in the process, which brings me to the second thing I want you to do before you even touch a toy is to talk to your kids about what you're going to do and include them in it. So my oldest is 5, and so he has been with me every single time that I've gone through the toys, even when he was like 1 and didn't even realize it. But he has always been there, and I've talked about what we're doing with the toys and why we're not keeping all of his toys. So I really want you to talk about that with your kids beforehand so that they get an understanding. This way they are part of the process and they understand why decluttering is important, and it becomes a habit for them, and it makes it easier in the future when you want to go through the toys again, because this is something with toys, like they're always coming in, you know, most likely for birthdays and Christmas and maybe even other holidays. Your kids probably get toys, or you know, if they're involved with something at school or some kind of extracurricular activity, there's usually some kind of prizes or toys that are won and they're brought home. And so that's why it's important to make sure that you're continually going through their toys and getting rid of the ones that don't need to stick around. So I particularly like to do it around birthdays and then around right before Christmas. I know some people like to declutter after Christmas. I in particular like to do it before Christmas because that way there's space to put the new toys. Because if you wait until after Christmas, then it's just gonna be like, okay, I already have a ton of toys and now we're getting even more, and it just feels like overwhelming. So it's easier to just have like some spaces, and maybe like we like to use cubbies. For my son, I got his off of Amazon, and it's just a 9 cubby shelf. And so before Christmas, I like to make sure that there's a few cubbies that are open so that we can put toys in those areas after Christmas. Okay, so once you've scheduled a time to do it, and then number 2, you've talked to your kids about it, then it's time to go ahead and do it. So before you start decluttering, you're gonna wanna make sure that you have the supplies you need, which is basically just a box of some kind for donations, or if you're going to sell them. I like to just use a diaper box, and then also some kind of a trash, either just a trash can or a trash bag, depending on how much stuff, how many toys your kids have. You may need a big bag to fill it in. I usually just will bring in a small trash can, and if it's trash, we throw it away. Like if it has broken pieces, the kids really can't use it, then it gets thrown away. If it is something that my kids maybe have either outgrown or they just don't use a whole lot, I will either donate it because that's just easy to get it out of the house, or if it's something that I know I can probably get some money out of, I have a box that's in my basement that is specifically for Once Upon a Child. And so I will just kind of fill up that box throughout, a few months. And when it gets full, I'll take it to Once Upon a Child, see if they'll give me any money for it. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. If they won't, then it just gets donated. And that way, it's getting the clutter out of my house and it's helping someone else out. So I can think of something in particular right now that needs to be, probably I'll try to sell it, and if it doesn't sell, I'll donate it. But it's this like little robot that you can turn on and it'll sing songs, and you can put little pieces on it together. And my kids, what they'll do is they'll get it out, and it has all these pieces, so they'll dump it out. And then they'll put the pieces on and they'll listen to the song for like 3 minutes and then they're done with it. And so that's not something that really keeps their attention, doesn't really keep their imagination going. And so that's something that really needs to get the boot and is going to go bye-bye. But on the other hand, my daughter she was just given to this at her 2nd birthday, a little stroller that she pushes her baby doll in, and she uses it every single day for a long amount of time. She loves to pretend like she's a little mama pushing her little baby around. And so that is not something we're going to get rid of. In the future, probably we will, because, well, it's either going to break or she's going to outgrow it and she's not going to use it anymore. So think about what is it that your kids don't necessarily use on a regular basis. They don't reach for it often. And even if they do, it doesn't really keep their attention for long. So those are the kind of things you're going to want to get rid of. Now, on the flip side, think about the things that your kids love, and like whenever they go to play, this is what they always grab for. This is what they always want to play for. If it's something like a favorite toy, like, you know, if it's lost, the whole family stops whatever they're doing and they go and they find that toy, then obviously those are the things that you're going to want to keep. You know, don't just like be like, no more toys, we're getting rid of it all. I mean, really think about it from your kids' perspective and think, okay, what are the things that they really love and they play with on a regular basis? Those are the things we're going to keep out and available for them to play with. Now, if it's really hard for your kids to say goodbye to their toys and maybe like, you know, tear fest and they've never gotten rid of a toy ever in their life before, I mean, you gotta kind of think about it from their perspective. Think about it from their personality. Like my daughter and my son are two totally different people. And so, you know, the way I talk about it with one is gonna be a little different than how I talk about it with the other. And so if you have a child that just really doesn't want to get rid of a toy, it may just want to do like a toy rotation. And we do this sometimes where we'll just like pack up some of the toys if it just feels like there's a lot right now. And my son likes to play with them, but you know, he just needs a break from them. Then I do have a bin downstairs with some toys that we will bring up and then we'll take some other ones down. And it kind of feels like Christmas, you know how they enjoy playing with new toys, or if they go to someone else's house and there's new toys to play there and it's so exciting. So that's kind of what a toy rotation can do. And so I know not everyone likes doing that, but I personally like doing that. My kids love it and it works for us. So that would be another option if you feel like you don't want to get rid of all of your toys. But if you pack it up and you never rotate it, then there's no reason to keep it. Go ahead and just get rid of it. Okay, so I hope that is really helpful. I hope that you enjoy getting rid of some of the toys. I hope your kids enjoy it because, you know, one thing that my son will even say is that it's so much easier to play in my room when it's clean, and when there's less toys to choose from, it's easier to play. And so it really does make a difference. And by now, hopefully, if you have been following along on the Declutter Challenge, you can also use yourself as an example how you have gotten rid of some things in the bathroom, in the kitchen, and your clothes, and it makes it easier for you, you know, when you cook or when you get dressed in the morning, because you have less to choose from. All right, so I hope that you have enjoyed this challenge. Those were the 4 areas that I have wanted to focus on, but if you are an email subscriber, then you know that I asked you for some areas that you struggle with in decluttering and you want some more help with. And so this week, I'm coming at you with some bonus videos. We're going to talk about paperwork and how I deal with it and hopefully give you some inspiration. We're going to talk about the dreaded junk drawer in your kitchen and your nightstand that seem to just be like clutter magnets. We're going to talk about how to deal with those. And then we're also going to talk about arts and craft supplies. Like if you like to do different crafty things and DIY things, you probably have a collection of stuff. And so I am going to talk to you about that and how I deal with mine.